share this with stakeholders all over the world, and encourage any of you who want to learn more about past presenters and pitchers and judges, checking out nglcc.org/blog for weekly wrap outs about all of the great presentations that have happened on Sip and Pitch Fridays. It's my pleasure to turn the conversation over today to our great hostess on these events, Sabrina Kent, my fellow NGLCC Senior Vice President. Sabrina, welcome, take it away.
Awesome, thank you so much, Jonathan. Welcome back to everybody, and welcome to those of you who have not attended our LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays program before. We're so glad to have you here with us for the last Sip and Pitch of Pride Month. So before I jump into today's program flow, I'd love to turn it over to our incredible co-founder and president at NGLCC, Justin Nelson. Justin, take it away.
Hey, thanks, Sabrina. And thanks to all of you for joining us for the latest edition of NGLCC Sip and Pitch Fridays. This is the last Sip and Pitch of Pride Month. I hope you have all had a wonderful Pride Month. Lots of exciting news this month, starting with the historic decision by the Supreme Court and Title VII that we in fact cannot be fired from our jobs just for being LGBT. That is a historic decision and has amazing implications on LGBT people and our families. Also exciting news out of the Supreme Court on DACA, very important and impactful for our immigrant communities, and the long overdue dialogue around racism and racial violence. I am very proud that NGLCC has been a part of each of these conversations and will continue to be, not just while the headlines are here or news cameras are on, but long after, because we need to see long-term systemic change in battling racism and racial violence and being the allies we need to be to the Black community. You have my commitment, you have NGLCC's commitment that the conversation has only just begun. I want to thank Kellogg's for being this week's Sip and Pitch sponsor. Special thank you to my good friend Deborah Quade, who runs the Supplier Diversity Program over there. Many of you know Deborah. She also chairs our Development and Engagement Committee. Thanks for the work you do on behalf of NGLCC, our corporate partners, and our suppliers. It is much appreciated. I also want to welcome the remainder of our panel of judges for today's program. The amazing Kimberly Marcus, Director of Supplier Diversity from AARP, Robin Best, the Procurement Manager for Strategic Sourcing at Johnson & Johnson. Thank you for being here and for your great work. And the amazing and wonderful Rose Hatcher, the Director of Supplier Diversity at Viacom CBS. You all have the most rock star group of judges yet. So thank you all for being here. This is an amazing group. We have a great group of suppliers that are going to be pitching today. And I just want to say thanks to all of you for participating. And I'm going to turn it back to my colleague, Sabrina Kent, to get us through the rules and get this show on the road. Sabrina?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Justin. Thank you again to Kellogg Company for today's program. And Deborah, we could talk about the number of hats that you wear for NGLCC, but that would take the full 3 hours today. So I just want to say thank you again for your work on the Development Engagement Committee and, of course, chairing the Community Outreach Committee of the NGLCC Trans Inclusion Task Force. For those of you that are in our corporate audience, we have an incredible presentation coming up next week on Tuesday on trans inclusion, trans and gender nonconforming inclusion for your corporate supply chains. If you missed that email, send a note to me at transinclusion@nglcc.org. We'll make sure that you're registered. We encourage you to pass that on to your HR, D&I folks, that y'all can learn how to best ensure that your supply chain is inclusive and ready to do business with TGNC folks. So with that, again, thank you to our incredible judges today. Kim Marcus from AARP is going to be with us for session 1, and stepping in to fill those big shoes is going to be the lovely Rose Hatcher. So we're very excited to have this incredible panel of judges, including our second return from Johnson & Johnson. Y'all might remember that a few weeks ago we had the wonderful Charlene Vickers with us, and today we are so lucky to have you, Robin, with us. And I know that behind the scenes you've got a whole team from J&J that are rooting you on and giving great feedback to support the feedback you're going to be sharing with our contestants today. So with that, I'm going to run through our ground rules. Make sure that you're utilizing the chat function throughout today's program. I will be monitoring that. And so if we have time to be able to share those comments with our presenters as our judges are giving their expert feedback, we will do so. So remember, and for those of you that are new, take a look at these rules and guidelines. Number one, each presenter is going to have 5 minutes to pitch. Lauren Schweppe from our team is managing the timer. Lauren, can you say hi for everybody?
Hi, everyone.
Awesome. So Lauren is going to be managing that timer. You'll see that timer visually throughout. She will be giving a verbal cue at both 1 minute and 30 seconds. Some of you have asked, can you make it less intrusive by using a ding or something like that? No, in the lovely technology world that we live in, only a voice will allow us to speak over the moderator or the presenter so that they actually know where they are in terms of time. We are going to have 10 minutes for feedback and Q&A from our judges. Remember, there's only going to be one presenter from each participating company. We have designed this program to be as informal or as sophisticated as our presenters want it to be, so no presentation, no problem. Again, if you are not speaking as a member of the audience, please be sure that you are muting your microphone so that we can be sure to hear everything our presenters have to share with us today. Finally, this is a judgment-free zone. We're here in the spirit of collaboration to help us all grow and learn. And lastly, most importantly, have fun. So with that, it's my pleasure to turn it over to our first presenter of the day, Nick Casey. Nick, take it away.
Hi, everybody. My name is Nick Casey, and it's an honor to be here. It's my first time pitching to really anyone in a formal capacity. So I decided that because my brand is about being authentic and raw, that I wouldn't actually have a presentation and just give it to you kind of authentic and raw as I naturally am. So as I said, my name is Nick Casey, and I am the founder and CEO of Nick Casey Footwear. It is the first gender-free footwear and accessories company that I founded in late 2013, after basically a lifetime of not being able to find shoes that fit both my identity and my feet at the same time. And if you're not aware of what that feels like, imagine me being 8 years old and going to the store and finding a pair of shoes that I love and finding out that I was in the wrong section and that I need to go to the women's section. And because I identify as trans and non-binary, that for me was a very harsh reality to live in. And I never understood why products had gender assigned to them, when really it should be the person that has the gender assigned, right? To how I feel most authentic. So I left my job in the end of 2013 and went on a quest to find out why the shoe industry has not created shoes for folks like me, and why they were traditionally restricted to being created with the last, which is the mold of either being male or female. And the overwhelming response that I received was because apparently that's just the way it is, and that they are aware, and the shoe industry is traditionally very cis male oriented. And so the way that I was spoken to was also very much in a kind of misogynist kind of way that was like, well, this is just how you make a shoe. And we know that there's a niche, but it's not worth it. And I took that feedback and I realized that I believe that I am worth it. And so I think there are many other people out there who will also feel the same way. So I'm going to share my screen now and give you kind of the visual of what my brand is about. Let's see. Sorry, bear with me. It's my first time doing this. Okay. Let me know if that works. So the first thing I did, if you can see my screen, is I started with a Kickstarter campaign. And I was able to raise over $47,000 to go to basically start my first production. And this is what the Kickstarter campaign looked like. These were the prototypes that I made. And my first collection was called Fortune. And it took basically all of the ideas of shoes that I always wanted to wear but never could find in my size. And I made them, basically created a new wardrobe for myself. And overwhelmingly, like, the response I got was that people were like, I've waited my whole life for this. And it really felt amazing to know that not only was I really fulfilling a lot of the dreams that a lot of other people had been missing and not being able to find, but I was also on my way to basically kind of revolutionizing the way we look at shoes. So what sets my shoes apart is, instead of having a male or female gendered last, the mold, I created a whole new type of last that was gender free based on my experience and my testing. And from there, I designed different collections of shoes. First one being more masculine presenting. And then the second one, this is my website, by the way. The second one was
1 minute.
a more gender neutral aesthetic. That was called the Destiny Collection. And so this is to give you an idea of what, for me, a gender neutral kind of aesthetic is to be able to look at a shoe and not be able to assign a gender to it anymore. And I believe that that is the wave of our future, is that we should be able to look at products without automatically assuming a gender and allowing the consumer
30
to choose
seconds.
themselves what works for them and what doesn't. That's all I got.
Thank you so much, Nick. As you know, I'm a huge fan of your footwear. Just always looks amazing, and I love the examples that you used in how brands ascribe gender to shoes, where really we should be able to choose what fits our gender identity. That's fantastic. Deborah, you're the presenting partner for today's program, and you're a member of the Trans Inclusion Task Force, so I'll let you start.
So first of all, Nick, I just want to say, I think you made the right decision by being spontaneous. Thank you so much for sharing your story and taking us on your journey. And I really like the fact that at a relatively young age, you were not satisfied with accepting the status quo. I mean, it's like the proverbial fitting the round peg in the square hole, right? You were like, this is not what my feet need to be wearing. And the fact that you had the motivation and the self-worth to say, I deserve more, and so do other people. So if no one else is doing it, I'm going to do it. And then I think my final comment is, I like the fact that you brought in the science behind the decisions, that you were actually looking at the reality of foot sizes and functionality. It wasn't just, this is something I like, so therefore I'm going to do it. So I think you gave us a really good 360 picture of, again, taking us on the journey, but really showing us the reality of the product that you've developed. So thank you much.
Thank you
so much, Deborah. Kim, any advice for Nick?
Hi, Nick. Thank you so much for your presentation. And so this touches a special place in my heart because I identify as she, her, hers, but I actually have a very large foot. So I wear a size 11 women, which is a 9 in men, and my 12-year-old girl, who identifies as her, she wears a size 12 women's shoe. So I found growing up in San Francisco area, I would actually be in the stores with a lot of transgender people. I was the only young child who identified as a she, he, her in the stores with traditional men. And I didn't really feel comfortable there as a young child. I was like, why do we have to go to another store? Why can't we all of us, just be in a store where everyone shops? So while I absolutely love your line, I would love to see some feminine shoes as well, because there are quite a few transgender people who would love to have those shoes as well. I think, as Deborah stated as well, the science behind it is just fabulous, and I think you presented extremely well. Thank you for what you're doing, not only for the transgender community, but for everyone who does not identify with just a certain type of shoe. So thank you.
Thank you. Actually, let me know when it's possible to respond.
No, yeah, go for it.
Oh, yeah. So thank you both, Deborah and Kimberly. But Kimberly, more specifically, I want to address what you're saying about the feminine aesthetic. I actually did start that a few years ago because what I realized after the first collection was that I would be a hypocrite if I only designed what I liked, that I need to break the entire gender binary by creating all sorts of aesthetic of shoes and styles so that all people could find something that they liked. But the over a huge obstacle that I had in terms of wearing like high heels and more feminine, designing more feminine shoes in the same size range. And if I look at every shoe company that I know of, I have the largest size range because it's gender neutral. I start if a conversion status would be a woman's like 3.5 all the way to a men's 14. So that is like the largest size range that I'm aware of. But what happens is in trying to develop a high heel for it, I went through all of the, research and development and prototyping, but factories were just very reluctant to work with me because it's a huge risk for them, because they don't know if I will be only ordering like, 50 pairs. So the amount of money that is required to go into this kind of development was so high that so far I have not been able to do it yet. I've considered doing another Kickstarter for it, but yeah, so.
Totally understand, totally agree with that. We've had to get shoes made for us in other countries. So I understand companies do not want to take that risk. But if there is a way that you can find out, I think that's an untapped market that it would be very lucrative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, there I was trying to multitask in the chat because Casey said the website and branding represent the product incredibly well. And absolutely, Casey, no pun intended, Nick Casey, your website looks amazing. Awesome. Robin, any feedback for Nick?
I first want to say thank you for opening your presentation, saying that you weren't going to, have a lot of slides and then telling your story. It was incredible, very much, pulled us in, and it's, important to be able to understand your journey, and you did a fantastic job of explaining, why you went into the business, your experience. I would just say maybe a couple of things. You really did pull me in, but now I want to know more about the quality and how are you marketing, and how are you doing starting out in 2013, and what are your future plans? Because it seems like you have really, are feeling a niche market. I'm curious now, do you have competitors, and or are your customers seeking you out, or are you, what are you having to do to try to sell your footwear today? So just great presentation. I just want to hear more.
Thank you. Would it be suffice to say that the purpose of a pitch will be to get that response, basically, like that you would want to hear more, so that we would set up an actual appointment to sit down and be able to tell you more then?
Absolutely. It's really hard to say a whole lot in 5 minutes, and you did say a lot, but just being, I guess, a customer of footwear in general, and always, I grew up always looking at the quality of shoes, or that was something that was important to my parents, and so that's always in my mind as kind of the first question that I ask about footwear. So but I think you did exactly that. You just drew us in very well.
So Nick, what are your next steps? You brought us on the journey this far. We need to know more.
Yeah, so I spent from 2014 to 2015 basically doing all the research. Prototyping took a year because it was so much testing to develop a whole new last system. And then via the Kickstarter raised enough money to actually begin production in 2015. And so basically the last 4 years have been about building brand reputation. When I first started, Zappos actually reached out and wanted to carry my stuff, but I said, I really would rather, I mean, I was so honored, but I really would rather not have anyone else carry my brand when I haven't even built the brand and what it stands for yet. And then to me, that requires longevity. I want a legacy, you know, and so I didn't want to just jump on the first train that came. And so I spent the last 4 years really building the reputation. And, you know, my shoes are all handcrafted. They're Goodyear welted or Blake stitched in Portugal and now in Mexico due to economic reasons. And all of my clients, you know, I have, what the best part about the journey has been that my clients have become like family to me, because, you know, the responses that I would get are that, you know, I've never put on a pair of shoes, like this quote, I've never put on a pair of shoes that finally made me feel like I could walk proudly, head held high, you know? And that is something that was very consistent with the experiences that really changed my life, because it was no longer about just making shoes that fit our identity or that our gender identity or expression, but really like creating a quality pair of shoes that allowed folks who are in the LGBT community to feel like they were worth more. You know, that we are entitled to wear high quality products, you know, not suffice for fast fashion, and be mindful about our environment. You know, all of that footprint that we leave is all part of what this brand is about, you know. And so now, you know, I've been working on the gender neutral collection and hopefully the, you know, feminine presenting collection as well. And, you know, unfortunately with the way our world and politics have gotten us at this moment, it's definitely hurt my business a lot. And so I've had to kind of pivot a little bit and focus on my accessories instead, because footwear is such a huge, complex product to develop because of all the sizing. But I also have accessories, including my utility holster, which is imagine a gun holster, except that I say it's like a love holster. You carry your money and your things that you love into these pockets. And it's the first gender-free utility holster. So, you know, it's a unique design that is totally adjustable to any body type, any body style. And that's kind of what I've pivoted my business to kind of focus on right now, just so that it's a little bit easier to maneuver in this economic crisis that we're in right now, because it's a lower price point, but it's still high quality. It also kind of fits during a pandemic because it leaves your hands free to be, you know, clean. I have like my hand sanitizer hooked onto it. So it's, I think, a product that works a little bit better, because with the, you know, revolution we're going in right now with politically, and then the pandemic, I just felt like it was very hard for me from a moral standpoint and ethical standpoint to be like, oh, buy my high quality shoes right now when people are fighting for their lives, you know? So I really wanted to use my platform to help promote kind of the movement that we're in, and less about the sales. But hopefully we'll get back into that later when things settle down.
Definitely.
Well, and you have Nick. Nick is the founder of Equality Fashion Week, which is the first ever inclusive fashion week from gender, race, ability, age, size. Nick is really leading the way in their industry. So Nick, we couldn't be more thankful to have you with us. And make sure that you're checking out the chat, because Michelle said, hope you've explored the 210 Footwear Foundation. They provide scholarship and other support to the footwear industry and family of workers in the industry. And Rex Wild, who's on our trans inclusion task force, and actually they will be leading next week's seminar that I mentioned at the top of this program alongside Gabrielle Claiborne. Rex says, I love your Outlook products and brand. I'm really curious about what partnership could look like with you and other gender neutral clothing companies. So Nick, take a look at that chat box. I'm sure you've gotten a lot of DMs along the way too. Thank you so much for starting today's session. I know that you were nervous, but I tell you, it did not show. You did a fantastic job, and really appreciate you being here with us. So thank you, Nick.
Very much. Thank you.
So with that, I'm going to turn it to our second presenter of today, and that is Carla Butcher of Marley's Pet Planet. And personal anecdote, my dog's name is Marley. She's a Pugapoo, so she's not quite like the boxer on the screen here. But Marley, Carla, I have a personal affinity for Marley and for your company. So take it away.
Well, there's Marley right there, by the way. I don't know if you guys can see him, but that's my baby. And I'm going to share my screen so we can get this presentation going. All right.
Great. Oh yeah, I can see there. Okay, so cute.
Do you want to stop sharing screen? Okay. Can you guys see?
No, we cannot see your screen.
Again, you are authorized and good to go.
Okay, let's try again. Can you guys see now?
Nope.
I have,
There we go. Now it's working.
Now it's working?
Yep, just go full screen. You're good to go. Thanks.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, let's play from start. Everybody, I'm gonna kind of zoom through this one because I know my time is up. So my company is called Marley's Pet Planet after my dog, Mr. Marley, who you guys saw laying behind me on his bed. What does Marley's Pet Planet offer? Human-grade goods, treats, beverages, healthcare remedies for dogs that I created for the love of my dog first and foremost. This company was born from my relationship with my PTSD service dog, Mr. Marley. After serving my country, I became very lost in mental illness and mental health, and my dog is the one thing that saved my life, and because of that, I am paying it forward to my baby. Marley's Pet Planet, I create being a chef for the last 18 years ago, very many years ago. I took my culinary expertise and started developing and creating products that all dogs from all walks of life could enjoy, including dog beer, which is Best Buds Brew. It is a gourmet beef bone broth beverage that you can add to meals. You can make ice cubes or just put some in a bowl, and it's really fun to enjoy with your best bud. I also create CBD paw soothers for cracked noses, cracked paws, cracked elbows, CBD dog toothpaste for sensitive gum issues, CBD hotspot treatments that also take care of dog warts and cysts on dogs. I'm actually going to start selling this to veterinarians because it is working oh so well. And Canine Flea and Tick, it's an essential oil brand that I linked up with. Products, features, and benefits. More products in natural choice. More millennials today want to see anything that they can use, they want to use for their pet as long as it is safe. My products help to relieve pain, anxiety, and some seizures. Of course, all my different CBD products for teeth, skin, bones, and healthcare, I created and developed all of these, and they all work and they're extraordinarily affordable. Top 5 selling products today, of course, is my craft dog beer, my soft gourmet biscuits from being a chef. Everything that I formulated is from scratch. Absolutely awesome. CBD hotspot salve and my gourmet dog food. I even make my own calcium to create healthy bones and teeth in dogs as well. My goal in the future is to seriously launch my CBD soft gourmet biscuits, the CBD craft dog beer that I created. I formulated now my dog beer to have CBD in it. It's water soluble, very fast acting in the body, and it has been, my customers that are already using it are saying they've seen phenomenal results. Once again, the CBD toothpaste and the flea and tick prevention. Anything like Frontline or Advantage, honestly, if you guys know of the history of what's going on with those, it's causing dogs to die, it's causing skin issues, it's causing cancer. These are things I don't want my dog to suffer with, so therefore I want to pay it forward to as many dog owners as I can. Business, where did it go? Here we go. So yeah, what's the biggest sellers? Of course, my dog beers, my biscuits, the dog food, and the healthcare remedies is going to be last, only because these are products that people purchase as they need them. Consumables, as we all know, are the quickest sellers always. You know, you got to eat it, and you got to rebuy it. My traction, I started this in January of 2018, at the very end of 2018. I started with little to no money at all. I used my VA disability money from being PTSD service member, and I saved up money to start this little company. I started selling in farmers markets, and Petco reached out to me and said they wanted to have a meeting with me. They were watching with the dog beer, all the social media that I was creating around it. Started my website, took 100% ownership of the company due to my ex-wife divorcing me, and she took the house and I took the company, but God is good and everyone is awesome. I doubled my sales. I'm sorry? 1 minute. Yes, thank you. I doubled my sales. But like I said, started this with little to no money, only a few $100. And of course, right now I'm working on hiring a manufacturing and distribution companies to start calling, promoting, and selling my products worldwide, nationwide. What else? In August of 2020, I want to reset up meetings for Petco to relaunch my products, PetSmart, Cahoots, and I'm considering starting an affiliate program to share the brand. I see it, thank you. To share the brand with the company. And that's it. Pretty much, I am wanting to do this for pets, and this is a veteran-owned company. It's my passion. This is the only thing that I can see myself doing besides being a public speaker and a writer, which my dog and me helped me write my story for this company. So yeah, that's it, guys. I'm gonna take this off and.
Thank you, Carla. Very well done. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Steve said it best in the chat. Carla equals resiliency personified. Well done. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more about what you said in terms of your market. I make my dog's food from scratch. I know that sounds extra, but hey, it's what we got to do to keep our animals healthy and living a long life. So I love everything that you've shared with us here today. And Robin, how about you start for us? Any feedback for Carla?
Hi, Carla. Great presentation, and I am a dog person, so I really appreciate that that this was about a real pet, but more importantly that you started with a real story. That's always very compelling, and drawing folks in. Just immediately very interested in your products and your brand. If anyone has had a dog, you know that you spend a fortune if you have to take them to the vet to have their teeth cleaned, and they have to put them under. And so the idea that that's something that you can deal with at home at a very low expense is definitely appealing. And I thank you for taking us on the journey of how you started selling the products, and then how you were discovered. I think that's really incredible to hear. And so congratulations on your success. I think in terms of talking about your products, talk about the benefits. It's really not necessary to talk about other products per se. Just really focus on how your products are differentiated from the competition and why they're superior. Okay. And then I would just say, you mentioned some comments about the funding, and you became 100% owner. I don't think that you want to take your audience down that road necessarily. So just really focus on the products, the marketing. I think your story is fantastic, and okay. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Excellent feedback, Robin. Thank you so much. Kim, any feedback?
Take out that.
Sure. Thank you. And thank you, Carla. And first of all, thank you for your service. So you are LGBTQ owned, you are veteran certified as well, I'm hearing, correct?
Yes, ma'am. And
then you could be disability as well?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So you should have 3 certifications, which should, definitely market you very well. I know that at AARP, we accept all 3 of those certifications. So while I really appreciate what Robin said about really sticking to your product and why it's better, your story really sold me. I liked the story personally. I am not a pet owner. However, your story let me say, oh, I like her. I like her, let me hear more. So then I hear more, and then I see the product that you are selling and why you're selling it makes me now want to purchase this product for family members, for friends. So I agree with Robin that you have to be compelling on why a price point and why it would work better than other products. But sometimes selling your story to a certain demographic like me who's not a pet owner, I'm going to purchase it because of the story. So I think it just definitely depends on your audience, on how you sell it. So I personally like the beer, when we start sipping and seeing, I'll be, taking my little sip as well. So I was like, oh, that's cute. That's trendy. I'll purchase that. I don't really know the right things to purchase for dogs or for animals, but that's cool. So that's kind of what, enticed me. So I absolutely loved it. I would like to learn, to Robin's point, a little bit more about your products and what you put in them so that people who are animal, owners would say, this is why I will go for your product versus, off the shelf in, giant store, their products. So very, very well done. Thank you.
There we go. I couldn't get my mute button. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kim, for that feedback. Deborah, anything you want to add?
Absolutely. So first of all, I'd like for you to know that whether you're in procurement or whether you're in supplier diversity, you hear a lot of pitches. And so there are certain things that you begin to listen for or that you expect, and it differentiates between whether it catches your attention and you retain it. So I think you did a good job. I think it was very thorough. You had good information in it. You told your story. You shared your product line with us, but I didn't feel as though you were just checking boxes, going down, a long list. And I think one of the most important things you did, and also Nick did, we were hearing very positive things today, is you identified the problem that you're solving. And I'll tell you something, sometimes when you're sitting on the corporate side of the table, you might not even recognize you've got a problem until someone tells you how they're going to solve it. And then it's like an aha moment. So very good that you addressed, the problems that you were solving. And I think you also included like a lot of keywords, and not necessarily buzzwords, but keywords that attract people, like fresh and healthy, right? And so it was very engaging because, again, none of us want our fur babies, right, to have anything less than the best. And so I think that on the overall, it was just a very good, well-rounded presentation. So kudos to you. It did not sound over-practiced, over-rehearsed. It came out very natural. It had a good flow, and it made me feel good after I finished listening to it. And that's not always the case with a presentation.
Excellent feedback, Deborah. Thank you so much. Yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on some of that bone broth to pour on my homemade dog food. So thank you so much, Carla, for your fantastic presentation. As Kim said, thank you so much for your service. Thanks for sharing your story with all of us. I think that human element really takes the pitch to the next level because it brings in the human and the canine element, I should say. They really take the pitch to the next level because you bring us in with that hook. So thank you so much, and thanks for joining us today to be a part of this program.
Thank you.
So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our final presenter of Oh, was I talking on mute that whole time?
There you go. Welcome back, Sabrina.
Oh, okay. Somebody muted me. I know I didn't mute myself. Anyway, sorry. Our final presenter for this round is going to be David from Spark Zoo. Take it away, David.
Thank you, Sabrina. And I'm just going to share my screen. So give me one second. Can everybody
actually, David, while you do that, I'm just going to remind everybody that our incredible team member Lauren Schweppe is our timer. Because we can't do audio cues, she does have to make that verbal cue at 1 minute and 30 seconds. So bear with Lauren as she just does her job.
Great. Can everybody see the screen?
We can.
Awesome. Thank you, Sabrina. I'm David Capisi, and for the last 10 years, I've been founder and CEO of Spark Zoo, a digital marketing agency. And for the last 18 months, I have moonlit a little bit where I've put together this venture Crew, which is creative project management software. So as we go through today, for everybody out there, the 3 areas that we could use help are certainly having users on our creative project management platform. Second, product feedback and advisory at a later date. And lastly, we will be doing an initial fundraise at the end of this year. So maybe just to take you into what was the genesis of this, I'm going to take you back to 2018, and at Sparks we had a great team of 25 creatives and digital marketers, and we were looking at this stat, and it was a real pain. So with all of our talent and all of our ambition and creativity, we were spending half our time on low-value tasks, and it's not something that I think any of us want to do, but it was certainly a pain point. And so what we did is we took stock at that point, saying, hey, we're running 5,000 digital agency, we need to be better than that. And so our problems were, we had a lot of wasted time and effort on low value tasks. We love collaboration, but we had a lot of ineffective creative collaboration. Our creatives didn't like project management, or at least the way we were doing project management. And then we were starting to assemble disconnected platforms. And so we looked around at the market, and we said, here's what's out there. There's project management tools, there's one feature tools, there's of course enterprise level tools that are great but really expensive, and not too much on the way of creative collaboration tools. So back 18 months ago, what we did is we started working on the creative collaboration tools, because that was a white space on the upper right side. And we at the same time actually upgraded our project management, and we said, for now, let's try to use something tried and true on project management, and also build out some tools on creative collaboration. And lo and behold, as we did that, we recognized that the opportunity was to build project management that creatives loved. And so with that, over the course of 2019 and 2020 was born Crew. And I do share the brand board. Of course, we are creatives and for creatives. And we're based in Tampa Bay, where Gasparilla is a big thing, and we love our pirates. So what Crew does is now it does project management. It does creative review. That's a place where you can store all your brands. And then we have these creative tools that save time around concepting and wireframing and things like that. And so the idea behind Crew is to have creative collaboration and project management that creatives love all in one place. And this is going to be the quickest demo in the history of mankind, but I do want to just show a little bit of what we have. So here I'm in a workspace where there's typical project management, and what we have as part of the creative review process is approval. So I'm going to take you into the approval for our homepage. So what happened at the beginning, and this is a homepage that is now live, is that version 1 was input into the system. There was all this commenting, and then through this commenting, we were then able to have that collaboration with all these team members.
David, I'm going to stop you real quick. Move your mic towards your mouth.
Sorry.
Thanks, David.
Thanks.
Move your mic.
Yep. So we're able to have all this creative collaboration with all these team members. We're able to share it externally. And then after the feedback was gone through, version 2 was uploaded. Again, same thing, comments, then version 3, and ultimately approved. It's all housed in a workspace, all there with the full set of content, et cetera, et cetera. You can share, download, et cetera, et cetera. And I am going to, just in the interest of time, go back into the presentation. So that gives you an idea of creative review being really well built out, and then we've now put it into a project management workflow. So where we are right now is that Sparksoo is, of course, a user of Crew. We actually are doing a pilot with the agency of University of Florida. So they have 80 creatives at the agency of University of Florida who are using it and giving us feedback and all that. And we have a few other early users, so about 100 plus people currently in and using. And our goal is ambitious. So we would like to ramp to 2 million users over time and really have this be a leading platform. So with that being said, would love, of course, feedback as we look for users, feedback as we then look for investors, and any other feedback and guidance. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Kim, why don't you start for us?
All righty. Let me turn my camera on. Okay. Thank you so much, David, for your presentation. So, might you be from California? And the reason I ask is you speak very fast. I'm from California, and I have to teach myself to slow down. I do know that you had a finite amount of time. However, I was concentrating so hard and trying not to miss a word. And then, of course, if you came off the mic a little bit when you moved your mic, it's a lot of information. So my first constructive criticism would be, you need to condense your pitch. It was too much. I was trying to follow too much. You were switching screens. I understand it's a technology platform and you wanted us to visually see it, but it should have all been in the presentation where you wouldn't have had to switch screens, if that makes sense. Yep. So I know it would have been stagnant, but we could have seen how the workflow was within the presentation.
Okay.
I think sometimes less is more when it comes to the IT space.
Yep.
I think you probably have a really good product, but I really could not appreciate what you were trying to sell. Okay. I think what would be beneficial is if you showed how the product will show how it is being used now, the inefficient way, and then your product. So we can see side by side, meaning basically, if you do it the old traditional way, this is the amount of time, this is the amount of effort, even this is the amount of dollars that would go into it, versus using our product, and this is how much time you save, this is how much money you save. And that's kind of how, we do in HR. When you bring on an employee, you say, you put all this money into them in the beginning so that they could be prepared to work on their job. Yes, it's an initial investment, but the long-term investment is better. I think if you could have done something like that, we could have appreciated it a little bit more. So
I love that feedback. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I would actually like to learn more about what you do, but I would definitely need it more concise so that I, a person who's not in IT, can articulate it to my IT department on why we should even have you come pitch to them.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
David, that just means that you're too smart. But those.
Oh, by the way, I am from New Jersey, so I guess a cousin of California or something like that.
You're in Tampa now, though, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so I'm actually just south of you right now in Venice, down by Sarasota. But Spark Zoo was actually one of the presenting partners of our local chamber opening party at conference last year. So, David, we're so glad to have you back with NGLCC for today's presentation, and I could probably learn a thing or two about slowing down. So now I'm consciously trying to do that. Great, thanks for that feedback, Kim. That was wonderful. Deborah, anything you'd like to add?
Yes, first of all, thank you. That was really informative, and it gave me a really good overview of your offering. It took me a minute to shift gears because at first I was listening to it as a potential customer, and it took me a while to realize that this particular presentation was more geared towards investors. So maybe just in the beginning saying this is something I've put together because we're in the beta stages, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is something that I've put together so that anyone interested in investing in the company could have more information. But as soon as I shifted gears and understood who your audience was, I did think you gave an excellent overview. I like the fact that you included your beta testing with the University of Florida because I think that gives it credibility, right? And it also informed me that you're not on the market, you're still in the beta stages, because there again, if I'm first listening to it as a buyer, it's like, oh, well, this sounds really good. How do I get it? This way I'm like, aha, it's in the beta stages. So this is coming soon. This is something I can float the balloon maybe with my team and say, coming soon to a neighborhood near you. And I liked the fact that you were forward-looking, what comes next, sharing those next steps. If I had any critique, whether I'm an investor or a customer, I might need to know, to Kimberly's point, who's in the space, who are the competitors. So if I'm going to see you as being a competitor to a well-established software program that we're probably all using at this moment and shall remain nameless, what are the advantages, maybe or just number one, plugging it in for me. These are my competitors, these are the reasons, and then go into all of those fabulous reasons that you listed for, cost and time and all of those things. So I think if I had money to invest, which I don't, but if I did, you had me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Deborah. All right, Robin, why don't you close out this round for us? Any final feedback for David?
Sure, just a little thank you, David. Just the comment about California and New Jersey is interesting to me. I'm from California, but I often am told I talk too slow. So, but you were speaking very quickly. And so I know that 5 minutes is not a lot of time to try to get through a lot. So agree with the comment about needing to condense your presentation. I liked that you started out by telling us what you were asking, but it was difficult, to Deborah's point, are you asking that of us? And so, trying to go through it, and then if this is not a subject that we're familiar with, some of the terminology, even I wanted to stop and say, what does that mean? But so it just made it difficult, at least for me to follow 100%. I think if you had done the presentation, over 15 or 20 minutes would have been okay, but it was just a lot. But then maybe some data, what's the problem you're trying to solve, and how, excuse me, based on your results so far, how much of a reduction in the cycle time are you seeing? That kind of thing would be helpful too, if you just need to help us understand, beginning to end, old process to new.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think that, along with the earlier feedback around, trying to show the before and after and even the process and putting some data around that, I think that's really great feedback. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, judges, for that incredible feedback. David, thank you so much for being with us and for your presentation. Thank you for closing out round one for us. And so that concludes our first round of the day. I want to say big thank you, Kim, for joining us for this first round. We're going to have Rose Hatcher stepping in to fill in for you during the 4 p.m. slot. Thank you again to all of our judges. Thanks to all of you for being here for our lovely LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays program. We're going to give it about a 5-minute break. We'll see you back here around 4 p.m. when we start round 2. Thank you. Jonathan, hit the music.
Good afternoon and welcome to NGLCC's LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays. We'll be getting started in just a few moments. Good afternoon and welcome to round 2 of NGLCC's LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays. I'm SVP Jonathan Lovitz, thrilled to welcome you all back. And just a few housekeeping reminders that we're streaming live on Facebook, and you can share that link, facebook.com/NGLCC, as well as recording this video for future streaming on YouTube and across all of our social media channels. Thank you so much for joining us, and as the program continues today, feel free to use the chat function to share your thoughts. And it is my pleasure to turn the conversation back to my fellow SVP, the great Sabrina Kent.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, thanks, Deborah, for that love. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Sip and Pitch Fridays. As I said before, it is our last Sip and Pitch of Pride Month. We're so excited that over 50 of you are here with us on your Friday afternoon to sip and pitch. We've got some exciting presenters coming up for you in just a few minutes. Before we do that, I'm going to turn it over to our co-founder and president at NGLCC, Justin Nelson. Take it away, Justin.
Thanks, Sabrina, and welcome back to everyone for round 2. What great pitches those were, and amazing comments from our judges. Just want to again thank Kellogg's for being this week's Sip and Pitch sponsor. Thanks to you, Deborah Quade, for not only being an amazing judge, but being an amazing friend to NGLCC. Again, to Robin Best, who is staying with us for this second round as well, and then bringing in our good friend, Rose Hatcher from Viacom CBS. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And happy Pride Month. We're coming to a close here. And as I mentioned at the outset, so proud of the decision by the Supreme Court that we in fact cannot be fired from our jobs simply for being LGBT. Amazing news around Dreamers and the Supreme Court as well. And then the conversation that continues and will continue around combating racism and racial violence. Really proud of the event that we did on Wednesday. Our webinar Wednesday was Black, Queer, and Successful. We had a number of our suppliers come on, talk about their experiences and share candid insights, a great conversation. And we're going to continue that into the next month when we host 2 town hall style events, one on white privilege and understanding that, and then the second one with my good friend and Pulitzer Prize winning journalist, editorial board member at the Washington Post, and MSNBC contributor, Jonathan Capehart. More details to come on those 2 exciting events. And I'm going to give a little bit of a teaser since we're going into the holiday week next week that we're going to have some exciting news coming out of the 4th of July that I hope you all are as excited about as we are. So let's get to the rest of round 2 of this amazing Sip and Pitch competition today. And to do that, I'm going to turn it back to my colleague, Sabrina Kent. Sabrina?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Justin. Thank you again to our fabulous judges. Thanks to Kim Marcus, who was able to join us for the first round. Kellogg Company, thank you so much for being today's presenting partner of the Sip and Pitch program. Deborah, we love you so much. Robin, Rose, we're so excited to have you on our judging board. Thank you for bringing all of your insights. Rose is returning for her second Sip and Pitch program, so it's a lot of love and a lot of fun here with the NGLCC family on this Friday afternoon. So with that, remember, please utilize the Q&A and chat functions throughout the program. I will be feeding live comments and questions as I can as the judges are giving their expert feedback to our presenters. With that, I'm going to run through the rules and guidelines for today's program. Each company is going to have 5 minutes to pitch. That'll be 5 minutes, and the lovely Lauren Schweppe from Team NGLCC will be moderating that time, giving verbal warnings at both 1 minute and 30 seconds. Lauren, can you say hey?
Hi, everyone.
Awesome. So you'll see Lauren up there at the top. Her timer will be going as a visual aid. Bear with Lauren. We can't make a ding, ding, ding noise via Zoom. We're in a virtual world now. So Lauren is going to give those cues verbally. Jonathan, if you could advance our slides so everyone else could see these amazing rules and guidelines as I'm going through them, that would be awesome. Thank you so much. Our judges are going to have 10 minutes for feedback and Q&A for our participants. Again, they have a strict 5 minutes for their presentation, only one presenter from each company. No presentation, no problem. You've probably seen from the last round, if you were with us, that some people come equipped with a presentation, others don't, and that's okay. We're here in the spirit of collaboration and giving some great real-time feedback. Again, please mute your microphone when you're not speaking so we can be sure to hear everything that our presenters and judges have to share with us today. This is a judgment-free zone. We're all here to grow and learn. And finally, most importantly, as always, at every sip and pitch, have fun. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our first presenter for this round, Mary Burge of Contractors Business Centers. Take it away, Mary.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Mary.
Let me share my screen here. Hi, my name is Mary Burge. I'm with Contractors Business Centers. We are a training provider for the construction industry.
Mary, sorry, Mary, we can't see your screen. Were you going to share screen with us?
Oh, yeah, I thought I did. Hold on. Gonna go back. Share screen.
I'll let you know when it's live for us. And then Lauren's going to start the timer.
Yes?
No. Nope.
Share screen. There. Am I there?
Nope. Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Mary, if it's helpful, you can also email it to education@nglcc.org. We can get it queued up from our side, and in the meantime, we can have our second presenter go ahead and run theirs.
Oh, okay, that'd be fine.
Awesome. Okay, great. Send that over to Education and we'll get that loaded up. In the meantime, Jonathan, if you could pull our slides back up.
Sorry.
No problem. This is the world we live in, y'all. Coronavirus, virtual world, technology is not always our friend, but we're going to make it work for us. Awesome. So with that, it's my pleasure to introduce John Sanford of Retail Support Group. John, take it away.
Here we go. You guys can hear me, right?
We can.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so let me share my screen. Hopefully it works.
Excellent.
You guys can see, right?
Yes, take it away.
Let's see if we can get this part going. Okay, good. Okay, guys, so my name is John Sanford. I am the founder of the Retail Support Group. And a little bit about us to start off with. We're not an organization for people who have a problem with shopping. So I get that sometimes for people, like that's great, but that's not what we do. Okay. So in a nutshell, I think we should start really with our mission. You know, our mission is what we really do. We actually strengthen the foundation of small minority businesses. So we are founded as a minority business, and our goal is to strengthen those who need I support the most, and giving opportunities and education to those members who feel that they want to strive in this, in really getting the American dream. We bring together the entrepreneurship of American dreams and create a grassroots networking event that unites minority businesses together to help them strive. So we were really founded on the need of, we felt that was an opportunity to bring awesome minority business owners and connect them to other business owners throughout America. So what do we do? So what we actually do, let me try to move this little box here. So we are a small business membership organization that members sign into our hub. Membership is free, and we offer business services, also business resources. So we do those two together. What are the services we offer? So since we're in a consultant business, we offer marketing, merchandising, visual stories, human resource services, training and development, leadership development, events support, and web design. And you think of our business, think of it as Amazon. We don't really own a lot of product. We connect the opportunity to the consultant. Our consultants come from every genre. Doesn't matter their race or anything like that. Our goal is to support as many organizations, small businesses as possible with a foundation around minority businesses. We do offer those services generally at 30 to 50% off the market value. How do we do that? First, starts off, we generally have a collection of in-house consultants. These are professionals that have over 30 years, really in some cases, of experiences in marketing, in leadership, in retail executives. We have bank executives. All these people are working on their off time, nights and weekends, to provide services at a discounted rate to help our cause. And if we don't have in-house consultants, we contract with consultants all across the United States. These are entrepreneur business owners inside our hub, outside our hub, willing to work with a reduced rate for our cause, and we contract with them for a year. Additionally to the services that we offer complimentary services as well, just to be a member. We do webinars once a month on various topics that we feel are needed for small businesses. Business opportunities, we connect members inside of our network. So if you're running a store and you and another person have a great product, we'll put the two together, and hopefully you can create a business opportunity. Special discounts for all of our services. We want to make sure that we offer a service to people, and getting money or paying for that service is not something that we want that to be in the way. So we'll offer special discounts and long-term payment up to a year to pay for our services. We want
1 minute.
We promote business as well. We network through through Facebook networking, through variety of LinkedIn, to try to ensure that our business are connecting. Let's see. Also, we do, sorry about that. And we do marketing as well. So marketing through our network, and marketing through outside vendors as well. All of these things are going to be free for our members.
30 seconds.
And then finally, our membership, like I said before, is no annual fee. All our services a la carte, no contract. So if you need HR for like a month, fine, we can work with that. If you need marketing just for a month, absolutely. So we don't do long-term contracts because we realize that the revenue and resources are limited. Free marketing, education, and networking through our events. So we've been in business for about 6 months, and all our ultimate goal is to grow communities to grow businesses one community at a time.
Awesome.
That was a mouthful that I tried to get out in 30 seconds. So hopefully you can understand some of the things that we do.
Well, thank you so much for that amazing pitch. Rose, you've just joined us, so why don't you start? Any feedback for John?
Absolutely. Hi, John. Thank you for your presentation. For me, the only feedback I have, I got stuck on the storytelling and how wonderful it would be if you could present your offerings as a story, right? Everybody wants to hear a really good story. So maybe take a look at what you're presenting, and that way that you're doing a demo almost to your audience. If you have the opportunity to present your information in that same story format, and you kind of kill two birds with one stone. But very good offerings. And I think the other part, I was a little confused when I heard free membership, and then also there were fees. So I got a little confused about what was free and what the fees were, but it may have just been me. So I think maybe some of my fellow judges may have picked up on that and can help me as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Rose. Robin, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, thank you, John. It sounds like a really worthwhile, excuse me. And, you started out by telling us what you weren't, and I expected that we would immediately understand what you were, but it took a little while to get to that point. I think when you mentioned the consulting, then it started to gel for me a little bit. And so I just wonder if you've had, feedback about the name and whether it is the appropriate name for your company. I think I would be interested in either some data around like the number of members, or even aspirational, how large you plan to grow the membership. And also would be interesting to know what you've seen happen just over the last few months in the current climate with COVID and so forth. Is this something that's become more compelling for small minority businesses, or are you starting to see a bigger pull, or is there a need to do more and so forth? So just be really interested, given the timing, to know what's going on currently too. Thank you.
Thanks for that feedback, Robin. Deborah, anything you'd like to add?
Well, this is going to date me in case the gray hair didn't do it, but there used to be a popular saying, "You've come a long way, baby." And I think from the time that you launched this project to now, you've come a long way. So kudos, John. Your hard work and your vision of what this could become, you're on the journey. And so, take time to pat yourself on the back and say, you know what? The journey's not complete. It never is, but I'm doing really well. I think, and I want to say, I love the logo is striking. It's very dramatic, but it draws you in. You want to know more. Even from a distance, if I saw that, I would want to know what company is represented by this. So I think, from all that perspective, you're doing great. My mind, I'm thinking that you're more like Facebook than Amazon. So I'm waiting almost, as you were talking, even before you said Amazon, I was waiting for you to say we're the Facebook to connect small businesses. And because it's kind of more connectiveness of sharing best practices, and I guess kind of in support of what Rose and Robin were saying, this is our free platform. And then just like Facebook, there are some paid options in addition, right? And so that would be, Facebook might bring it to mind for me more, the connectiveness, and really emphasizing the fact that as a small business owner in Michigan, I could come into your system and say, I've got this problem. Has anybody else experienced it? And you're really creating the collective great, right? Yeah, I mean, all these fabulous entrepreneurial minds that can get together and dialogue and say, yeah, I did have that, try this. And then maybe just when you're talking about the support options, the paid support options, give maybe a couple specific examples. And also COVID came to my mind, like one of our recent options was small business response to COVID-19. What does back to work mean for a small business owner? So give me something nutritious that I can eat. So I walk away and I feel like I just had a really good meal. And this sounds like something would really help my small business get to the next level. So anyway, again, congratulations. You know, you're doing great.
Thank you so much, Deborah. John, thanks so much for that incredible presentation. Thanks for being here with us today. Folks, make sure you're utilizing the chat function throughout, and we'll be sure to pepper in any questions or comments you have for our presenters along the way. All right, Mary, let's see if we can get you to share your screen this time. If not, Jonathan's ready on his side to share from his computer.
Awesome, thank you. Are you seeing it?
Excellent. Yes.
Oh, good.
Great.
Yay.
Success.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity. My name is Mary Burge, and I'm with Contractors Business Centers, and we're a subsidiary of Contractors State Licensed Schools, which is the largest contractor school in California. And how I came to be, I've been with the company for over 25 years, and what we found is there are companies that required our services to help train their employees, because we mostly had always worked with the consumers. So we created Contractors Business Centers, and what I found is, in talking with companies, the human resources, project managers, one of the biggest problems is time, and finding time for training for their employees. And what we do is develop the employees to have certain certificates that they need to be on the job, safety guidelines. We want to grow your team and give them the right knowledge to be out on the job. And how we do that is offering online courses or personal training. That's a little more difficult now with the COVID. I mean, we do have, like I said, 25 locations throughout California, but we're limited to the amount of people that we can train at one time. So the online, we really have ramped up our online training. We're a one-stop shop. Not only do we do compliance training, but we also have some business services such as bonding, insurance, corporation setups, and we want to help motivate and grow your team with these types of courses. We have Blueprint Reading 101, so if someone needs to learn about blueprint reading, construction math review, there's formulas that they need to know out on the job when they're doing estimates, home inspection for the real estate side for people, the EPA lead certification, so any building that's older than 1972 has lead paint. So we help with that certification, get them that certification, and every 5 years they have to take a refresher course, so we offer that as well. And then we have an electrical certification, so let's say someone didn't go through a union, but they are at a journeyman level. This is an exam for them to show that they're at a journeyman level. And then we also do building codes, both commercial and residential, so they can speak the talk of the inspector if they come out on the job. And then for facility management, mold removal and remediation is a big thing. If you come up across mold, or the employee comes across mold, they have to know what to do with it. And of course, OSHA 10, OSHA 30, these are construction safety classes, and any new employee needs to be able to take that OSHA training. We have that online. And then our contractor's license program is for the state of California. So even if you're from another state, but you're going to be doing construction business in California, we can help with that as well. The process. So now you select the program, then we create a list of employees for the training, create the class, schedule the class, order the materials, and the employees attend and they get their completed certificates. whether it be from the EPA or OSHA or one of our certificates that they completed the program. Why now? You know, now during the pandemic time, this is a good time to have a distraction for someone to learn something new, build their confidence, and our online courses are a great way to do that. These are some of the clients on the left that can tell you why CBC, and we have a proven track record. Like I said, we've been in business for a long time.
1 minute.
Contractors Business Center, we have professionals from the field that can give the most up-to-date information. We're innovative. We're always looking for new courses. So if there isn't one that fits your need, we do have an education department that can help with that, creating another class. And obviously, we want to help your business grow. This is our team. The owner, David Meisner, Ernie, myself, and then that staff behind us that helps create and keep our business moving. And thank you. If you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Mary. Robin, do you want to start this round?
For your presentation and for walking us through what your company does. Really informative, and I think it was interesting to hear, too, just about, some of the things that are going on and how people are getting trained, or, that you have the ability to train online. Just in terms of your presentation, it was great to have some examples of the types of training that are offered, but maybe some pictures of the type of people that take that training, because you were telling us about them. We don't necessarily also need to read it, just might make it a little more interesting. And I noticed that some said online, some didn't. So maybe just to differentiate how the training has to be conducted, or why are there cases where online training is not an option and is required to be conducted in another manner.
Yeah, that's the Environmental Protection Agency. They won't allow, because they have to put on safety gear and take off safety gear in the right way. So that has to be, yeah.
I'd love to see like a picture of somebody, actually doing that, and then you could tell us what that is. It would, I think it would just jazz it up a little bit.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Robin. Deborah?
Yes. Well, first of all, Mary, I think, you started out, you could hear in your voice because we had those technical difficulties, so you were kind of hesitant, but your confidence grew as you went along, and you were really bringing it by the end of your presentation. So it's all over now. Deep breath, serenity now, and just remember that on this call, we are all friends, because we're all here for just one purpose, and that's to support each other. So, there's no right or no wrong, and in the new virtual world, we're all always struggling. I mean, with some small or large technological glitch. So all that said, I like the fact that you have the online training, and in your mind, you're thinking, yes, this is the right timing. So I think that's a really strong thing to lead with. We are providing online training. You don't even have to say maybe because of COVID or something like that. That goes without being said. But so if there's one program that's EPA regulated to be in person, that doesn't have to be part of it. It's just really positive. It's kind of like you've got a problem and we have a solution. And if someone says, well, what about the EPA training? You say, well, that one we do have to do, in person. But I think you're absolutely correct. I think there's a saying going around like, don't let any good crisis go underutilized or something. And I think, you're in the perfect position, and the timing is perfect to really accent your online ability, your experience, and just really that positive problem solving. Because I'm sure a lot of people are trying to figure that out. And a lot of employees don't want to drive, even if you can put 10 people in a room. That doesn't mean they feel confident. So I would just come out sort of with that big punch of focusing on the online and the ready availability. And I think it's really, really important that you're doing custom programming. The minute you said that, my ears perked up, because there's all those what ifs. Well,
Right.
what if this? What if that? So I think you've got a winning program. And I think,
Thank
you know,
you.
again, getting the word out there during the COVID crisis, your timing should be perfect. So thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks so much, Deborah. Rose, any final feedback for Mary?
You know, not a lot of feedback. I thought it was a great presentation. A lot of the questions that I'm usually looking to get answered through the presentation was really there. You know, pricing wasn't important because, you know, you want us to ask more. And when you started off talking about with COVID, you started a little slow getting to online. What came to me is maybe look at some of your peers that focus specifically on the online environment so that you can stay focused on your core, which is creating what sounds like these amazing and valuable you know, training programs. So, you know, that's just an and, not a but. It's just an and. Think about that. You know, if you're spending more time on the front end trying to get prepared, and post-COVID, you know, if the EPA does suggest that you go virtual, be prepared to do that as well, because they can show you through the video how they're doing it, and unless you're touching them and adjusting things, you know, you may still be able to do that one as well virtually. And then the other thing I was thinking was virtual reality for some of the training as well. Again, that's an and. I think the presentation was great and very informative.
Thank you. Actually, that's something that we're looking into, the virtual reality.
Yep, and I know a bunch of companies, so reach out.
Okay,
you know,
awesome.
there's
Thanks, Rose.
some of your fellow diverse suppliers that do that very well.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Rose. Jonathan, I think there's something you'd like to add.
Yeah, well, Mary, great presentation, and it reminds me that I want to make sure everyone's aware that we're talking so much about supplier diversity and big, you know, working towards those big contracts, but remember, B2B is often the lifeblood of most growing suppliers. And remember, NGLCC has a construction and related industries council, and a lot of those folks would need the services that you provide to be able to get work for themselves. So let's make sure we connect and can think about B2B opportunities. And it's a good reminder to everyone that throughout the summer, we're going to have B2B matchmaking. We're going to have both formal and informal networking events online. Leverage your chamber family, because they can be some of your best champions and best cheerleaders for work like this. And as more of our construction folks start winning build projects, they can be saying, yeah, I got all my certifications because Mary taught me how. So let's make sure we chat. And it's just a good reminder to everyone out there thinking B2B and helping your fellow diverse entrepreneur out there. Great job.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jonathan. Mary, thanks so much for being with us and for your presentation. Glad we were able to get that up on the screen.
I know, right?
Yes. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Finally, for our last presenter of today's rounds of presenting and pitches, we have the wonderful Ken Cameron from Copilot Cat. Take it away, Ken.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me all right? I'm in a weird space because I wanted to have enough light so you could see exactly how pale I am.
We hear you.
Perfect.
And see you.
Just because I have to extend my skill set, I'm doing my presentation in a program that I had never used before this week. So hopefully I'm not going to blow up your computers. That's kind of all I can pray for. Okay, now I'm going to, this will stop. Yeah, I'm going to stop whoever's screen sharing. So if this works, and share. Wow. Okay, if you were looking, yeah, I mean, nobody's going to mistake my slides for anybody else's. Before I get going, I just want to let everyone know that they say if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. So next, Friday, I will have not worked for 24 years. Now, I know you're thinking I probably started this out of the cradle. They look 24 years. Okay, if you're going to tell a lie, tell a big one. Just trust me on that. The name of the company is Copilot Cat, and we are a promotional sourcing company. You probably are familiar with promotional products, which are basically what we do, but we do a whole lot more than that. So, welcome to the pitch. That's Simon, also known as Lumpy. And now it's time to pitch. Yes, there's going to be a lot of cats, so I'm hoping that I'm not going to offend Carla with all the kitties. This is the background of us. We specialize in the craft beverage industry. Anything that's liquid made with love. We have about 30 million plus items from a million suppliers just within the promotional products industry. So if you've pretty much ever seen it, heard about it, thought about it, we can get it. We do specialize in craft beverages, but to be honest, we work with anybody. I mean, our focus is sourcing things. So just like every other promotional products company, I think I'm probably the third, fourth, maybe the 100th promotional products company that's done a sip and pitch. You kind of know what we do. But I thought you might think it was cool to see some of the things we've done. You're going to see names you know, names you don't know, names you don't want to know. And I guess that's just as a sideline, one of the funnest things about our industry is it's like Christmas every day, because not only do we get to do these kind of things for clients, but it's like, boy, I sure like that knife set. Oh, let me get you a sample of it for free. So all the people that work with me love the free stuff because, well, I do. And anything that I love, I kind of share my enthusiasm about. So don't be frightened by my enthusiasm, please. A lot of work for Comcast, which, of course, everybody knows who they are. And all kinds of fun stuff. That is my brother-in-law, and one of these days I am going to mention that I used a picture of him wearing the Sherwin-Williams shirt. Hopefully he's not on here supporting me. Lots of shirts, lots of stuff you're familiar with. And we're almost to the fun part. We do what everybody else does, but what makes us cool cats, and yes, I actually have that shirt too, is we also do this. Hopefully it's big enough that you can see that I have a hot air balloon shaped like a can of oust. And you know Yoda, you know an ice cream cone. I'm sure you all wish that it was kind of a sip and ice cream cone thing. I know I do. I have way too many craft beverages in my house, so it's not that much of a thrill. And that is not a real nail, so you will not have to worry about the balloon falling down. Put the grandfather clock up just so you could see that a lot of our clients are looking for something and aren't necessarily that thrilled with the price. So a realtor that's giving these out as closing gifts or is paying 14 grand instead of 34 grand. This is another example of me spoiling myself. I had a realtor that wanted to have the Cadillacs. The dealer said, no, we're not going to do it in that color. So I gave them 9 for the price of what they were paying for 8. And since I had to buy 10, well, I was forced to keep the other one. Do a lot of bats because we do craft beverages. And hopefully you can see that on the left, that is what you think it is. It is a casket that says return to sender, express delivery. That's one of the fun things we did in addition to a ZZ Top casket or a ZZ Top lover. We can find anything, absolutely anything. One of the keys to our business is every single client, every single prospect is asked 3 questions. What products and services are you seeking and not finding? I'm showing you the picture of the amenities that we did for MGM Mirage, because when I was gutsy enough to go over and say, hey, I'm in town for a convention, I asked them that question that said, we need amenities, and we ended up doing—
1 minute.
I can talk faster. We ended up doing a substantial amount of business with them. Of course, I ask what referrals can we send to them? What can we do? Who do they know that we can add to our network of stakeholders? And just because I can't finish it without the kitty, come on, play. Okay, don't play. I would sing for you, but it is Keyboard Cat singing with Miley Cyrus, coming in like a wrecking ball. Check it out on YouTube because you want to see the kitty on a wrecking ball. And that is my pitch with no time to spare.
Nicely done, Ken. As always, putting a smile on our faces. Thank you so much. All right, Rose, why don't you start for us?
Okay, so Ken, that was great. I love your energy, your enthusiasm, your humor. I thought it was a great pitch. You know, it was great to see all of the variety of products. If I had any feedback, I would, you know, suggest that if your audience or your prospective audience is greater than the craft market, then maybe not focus so much on your core being the craft market, because I originally thought, well, he's not talking to me. You know, I'm not in the craft market. So, you know, if you are looking to expand outside of the craft market, you know, it's okay to say we got our start there and here's where, but we can transfer that into any industry and here's how. Because then you showed a ton of products that had nothing to do with really the craft market. So that's really my feedback. I thought it was a great pitch.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rose. Robin, anything you'd like to add to that?
Sure. Thank you, Kenneth. I love the name Copilot Cat. I'm curious how you came up with it, and that might be a great way to, you know, tell a little story about why you're in this business and how you got here. If it's connected, I'm not sure, but I think it's clever. I love that you interjected humor in the presentation, especially late on a Friday. That's always welcome. I was a little bit uncertain about who all your customer or your target market is, because you made a point of saying that you're not just a promotional products company, you're doing sourcing. So do you source products for other promotional products companies, or, you know, do you share the same markets? There was such a vast array of products being presented. I think you might want to focus on, you know, who your audience is. Now, I understand for today you wanted to show your overall capability, but it might, you know, might be good to hone in on a specific customer's needs. And I think the only other comment that I had was, I know a lot of times there's sensitivity to quantities that are required in, you know, procuring promotional products. And so if there, you know, might just be another area where you could tell a story about, you know, some successes, examples where you were able to do something that maybe another company couldn't for a need that wasn't for, you know, 10,000 of something. Or but I do like that you shared some of the unusual things that you've done. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks, Robin. And Casey's saying in the comments, this space is so crowded. Your personality is definitely a differentiator, which is great. I would say less is more on the examples. There were too many, so it was hard to process any of them until the end, till the hand motions towards the end. Maybe do 3 to 5 custom concepts for NGLCC, the judges, next time. That's great. Good feedback there, Casey. Appreciate that. Deborah, you want to close it out?
Absolutely. And Ken, you were busy presenting, but you've got to respond to Casey about these knives.
They're wonderful. Oh my gosh, they're so good.
So I really where you started to grab my attention is when you said that, when you mentioned Cool Cat. So my brain was kind of probably like other people have said, kind of like, oh, promotional products, da, 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 da. If maybe you led with Cool Cat, right, then right away, my expectation is you're bringing something different to this party and I want to know what it is. So you got my attention, right? Because the minute you mentioned that, it's like, this is a word combination I never hear in pitches. I listen to a lot of pitches. Nobody ever says that, right? So my brain got happy all of a sudden. And I think, there again, you showed us what differentiates you. What differentiates you is that, yes, you can do standard promotional products, but you can do anything from custom coffins to custom Cadillacs. And bringing kind of some of that stuff to the front for a big punch, it's kind of like the wave painting, right? Because people are thinking custom Cadillacs, custom coffins, Cool Cat. I like all these C's and knives and everything else that's out there, right? And so, yeah, kind of bringing that forward, because and again, you know this better than I do, but if I go to the NGLCC conference, I may speak with 5 people before you that are in the promotional space. So at the end of the day, how do I remember you top of mind when someone says, what was the most interesting company? Oh, I met this Cool Cat that does custom coffins and custom Cadillacs, and I want to know more, right? And then, I might even be going to your website. And so make sure your website carries through on the promise. Because if you're promising me that it's cool and you got coffins and things like that, I really want to be able to see it, because then I can forward it right on to my buyers and say, you know what, next time we're going out for quote, not that we buy a lot of coffins or knives, but we are Kellogg, so we're all into these, C's and K's and things. But anyway, good job, and your knowledge of the field shines through. Obviously, you are a subject matter expert. So thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, and your enthusiasm too. So Deborah, thank you so much for that feedback. Judges, thank you all of you for your tremendous feedback. Ken, thanks so much for your awesome presentation and for bringing that to the table. Remember, folks, we rely on your feedback as we continue to improve this program. So Jonathan's going to drop the feedback form link here in the chat box. Judges, I'm curious, any final thoughts that you just want to leave the group with today? Any business owners in the audience that might be listening, things that they can think about as they're prepping their pitches for future program? I'll just let any of you take it away.
I'll start. So I got a request to share that Viacom proudly presents RuPaul's Drag Race tonight, 5 p.m. Or it's RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star 5 tonight at 8 p.m. 7 Central on VH1. So for my super RuPaul fan, there you go. I think the pitches are great, for the folks who are listening, who aren't pitching, jump in. Feet first, we're always looking. We understand that you all are learning and growing, and that's what we as corporates want to see within this community, which is why we spend so much time here with you. So happy Pride, everybody.
Happy Pride. Thank you, Rose. And just another plug, if you go to the nglcc.org/COVID-19 page, you're going to see some incredible links to our Viacom CBS PSAs. Viacom CBS was kind enough to reach out to us to feature LGBT certified restaurants in New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. They made PSAs with these incredible restaurateurs. They're published, they're circulating on the Viacom CBS networks in the US, but check them out. They are on our page. Rose, thanks for everything you do for us.
Absolutely, and I saw the first one on Thursday, and I was like, yay, there's our commercial. So great job. Thank you for your partnership. We're so excited and looking forward to do more.
Thank you. No, it's so funny. I got a text from a friend saying, isn't this your company? I said, yeah, this is where I work. So it's awesome. Thank you so much, Rose. Robin, Deborah, anything you'd like to add?
I just want to say what a pleasure it was to do this today. And so thank you so much for the opportunity. And I think the one thing that stands out is just the 5 minutes. And so it's not a lot of time. You don't have to, try to present everything, just really focus on that hook, and then everything else will follow. But great job, everyone. Thanks again.
Thank you, Robin. We're so glad to have Johnson & Johnson with us again, and thanks for your incredible feedback. And I think that's a really great point, right? Like, not just that personal hook that will bring you in, but what is the hook to your business that's your differentiator in the market? And so thank you for guiding our participants along with your insight today. We're so glad to have you with us. Deborah, on behalf of Kellogg, today's presenting partner, any final thoughts as we close out round 2?
Well, I think for everyone on the call, number one, keep doing what you're doing. You're ahead of your competitors just by being on this call, because you're here to learn, and this is an opportunity to network and learn best practices. I think you always need to lead with a differentiator. It doesn't matter whether it's a new software program or a different type of promotional. You have to, well, it could be the hook, as Sabrina's saying, but it's also the old newspaper philosophy. This is the headline. Now you got to incentivize me to turn it over and read the details. So, give us something right up front where it's like, I need to know more. So great stuff there. And thank you all for taking time out of your Friday afternoon. Happy Pride, everyone. I'm sticking around for cocktails. Hopefully you all do too. So take care.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you again to Kellogg for being with us. Robin, Rose, Deborah, you've been amazing judges. To all of our presenters, thank you so much for being with us. Do not leave. We've got community and conversation coming up in 7 minutes. We're going to put on the music again. Go pour yourself a drink. We've got a really exciting program ahead of you shortly. So stand by, and we'll be back in just a few.
Good afternoon and slash evening, and welcome back to NGLCC LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays. Thank you for joining us on this last Friday of Pride Month 2020. Hope you enjoyed all the fantastic pitches and all the great feedback during our Sip and Pitch competition and conversation that we just had. And now we move into community and conversation. And to kick things off, we're going to turn it back to NGLCC Senior Vice President Sabrina Kent. Take it away, Sabrina.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thanks so much to all of you who are here with us on this lovely Friday afternoon. Thank you again to Kellogg for being today's presenting partner of the LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays program. I want to extend another big thank you to Deborah Quade, Robin Best from Johnson & Johnson, Rose Hatcher from Viacom CBS, and Kimberly Marcus from AARP, who are our incredible judges today, giving some awesome feedback to the incredible presenters that we had. Thank you all for being with us, and thanks for sticking around. So we are trying something new out with today's community and conversation portion of the program. For those that have been with us in the past, we've usually had a one-on-one sort of fireside chat, and then we broke it up into a larger group conversation. Today we thought it would be fun to replace that in-person networking that we would all get if we were together in one space. I think we'd be around the time of the WeBank conference right now, if not the week of the WeBank conference. So where we'd all be together, chit-chatting, having fun, networking over our drinks. This is Sip and Pitch after all. Those of you on the West Coast, no judgment. You know, it's 2 o'clock there, that's fine. We're glad to have you all with us. We're going to do small breakout groups today with guiding questions, and we're going to come back to the main group to debrief. We thought it'd be a fun way to think about Pride and also the context of the reality that we're in right now, now that we're in a national and global discourse around all Black Lives Matter, around the end of racism and white supremacy and police violence and brutality in this country. So on our last Sip and Pitch Friday of Pride Month, we wanted to get everyone together and replicate what would have been some great time in person with one another. So with that, I'd like to introduce my colleagues from NGLCC who, alongside me, are going to be in the breakout rooms. Alicia Green from our Supplier Diversity team. She's our Manager of Supplier Diversity. Alicia, can you say hey to everybody? Jonathan might need to let you say
now,
hey.
now you can.
Yes, hello everyone. Good afternoon, good evening.
Hey, Alicia, thanks for being here with us. We also have Sean Franklin, Manager of Stakeholder Engagement. Sean?
Wait, 1 second.
Okay, never mind. We've got Greg Schinber, Vice President of Corporate Relations. Greg?
Hello to everyone. It's good to see you all.
Hey, Greg.
And
thanks
now
for being
Sean
here.
Franklin.
And Sean.
Wait for it.
Okay, I'm on.
There we go.
Hello, everyone.
Yay!
Happy Friday.
Hey, Sean. Happy Friday. Awesome. So these are incredible Team NGLCC leads who are going to be in breakout rooms with y'all. We are going to go away for 10 minutes into breakout rooms. You're going to see a dialogue pop up on your screen when I give Jonathan the verbal command, and it'll say move to breakout room. So you're going to hit accept on that. It's really important that when our session ends, Jonathan's going to be sending us timer reminders, not through the regular chat feature, through this sort of global chat feature on Zoom. I don't know how all this technology really works, but he is going to keep us give us time. We're going to have 10 minutes in each breakout room. We're going to come back, and there's going to be a representative from your group that's going to share takeaways with the rest of the group. So our first topic of discussion is going to be, what's your group's advice for the next generation of queer business owners and entrepreneurs? And the spokesperson for your group is going to be the person who is most recently certified or acquainted with NGLCC. You know, we have corporate partners, we've got affiliate members and affiliate leaders on the line. We've also got certified BEs on the line. So whomever is the most recently acquainted with NGLCC is going to be the spokesperson for your group to, when we come back, share with us what your group's advice will be. So I think we have the laws of the land. I will also put that question here in our chat. Jonathan's got the breakouts going, so we're going to get started. Take it away.
So the rooms will
All right, folks are slowly getting back in. I know that my group was the group of veterans of NGLCC, so we had a little bit of a competition as to who was most recently having joined the organization. I think the most recent person might have been within the last 10 years. So I hope y'all had as much fun in those breakouts as we did. Jonathan, can you let me know, do we have everyone back? You're on mute, but I made out the almost.
Almost. We'll have everyone back in 55 seconds when the rooms close themselves out. So we'll let everyone have one more sip while we're waiting.
Okay, great.
Sabrina, do you want to sing that song you were singing in our breakout?
You're hilarious.
Okay, we don't have time for that.
There were no songs to be sung, for the record, though I would dazzle you with my performance.
So you're calling Casey a liar?
It wouldn't be the first time, Kristen. It would not be the first time.
So did the Facebook Live post end with the pitches?
No, it's still going. Still going.
We're live.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not dazzling anyone with the vocal styling for Sabrina Kent. Won't even tell you my stage name.
All right, we are all back.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. I hope you all had as much fun as we did putting our advice together. I will, because you were in my group, Gary, I'm going to put you on the spot to share what our group's feedback was.
Okay, thank you. Our group had a wonderful discussion, and we discussed that you need to be connected to your community and be aware of how the community actions impact businesses, as well as mostly to be involved and be authentic. Talked about being plugged in and listen and learn, and how to plug into a company's needs, and not just what you have to sell, but what the actual company is needing. What problems will you solve? We stress to be entrepreneurial first and use your skills to find opportunities on the horizon to leverage your success and capital. Have agility, be innovative, and seek out opportunities that are available to you.
I love it. I may be biased, but that's some incredible advice from my group. Greg, who's the representative from your group?
Well, after some arm wrestling, Kristen had to realize that she's with a new corporate partner right now. So she is the newest, although an NGLCC veteran.
Yeah, that's, they're only by a technicality did they win that. So, but I'm happy to speak on behalf of the group. I think that what we focused on were themes around, you know, really sort of digging in, being more like owning who you are, leading with the LGBT certification and owning that, finding ways to collaborate across maybe other LGBT businesses or across companies. But, you know, in this new day and age that there's a strong desire for more collaboration to move things forward. I think we all started with the assumption that businesses need to be focused on being the best at what they do and in really honing their expertise. And so all of the things that we talked about was assuming that. We also had some thoughts around just being your true and authentic self and showing up and owning who you are. And actually also there was a comment around in this time, you know, it's become harder to continue to connect, but continue to find ways to connect and utilize your network and continue to network. And this came from Maxine, which I really liked, is to say yes to things, even when it's uncomfortable.
Maxine, look at you making things happen from the supplier diversity team. I love that. No, that's really great feedback. And it actually makes me think about Webinar Wednesday that we had this week. We had Brax from South Bros & Co. as one of our speakers. And the program was called Black, Queer, and Successful. If you weren't able to tune in, I hope you check out nglcc.org/webinars so you can see the footage from that. But one of the questions was, you know, about navigating his identity as a trans man and a Black man in many spaces, and particularly business spaces. And one of the things that he said, to the point that you made, Kristen, and from your group, was, I bring my authentic self. I show up. I know I catch people's eyes, and then that gives me an opportunity to show them what I'm all about and what my business is all about. So I love that advice. I would say great work, Greg, but I don't want to give him too many pats on the back. So I'll give those kudos over to you, Kristen.
Nice job, Kristen.
I'm only as good as the team. And I just want to make one comment, Sabrina, because you made a point about Black Trans Live, a referral to some. Anyways, so we have Twitter has a new hashtag out there. If you haven't seen it yet, it's hashtag Black Trans Lives Matter, and it has a sort of a fist, and it's the colors of the trans flag. So you should check it out and use it.
That's so cool. I guess you really are convincing me to get a Twitter now. I have to pull myself out of my social media hole. Okay, I'm on it. Thank you so much, Kristen and Greg. Alicia, what did your team have to say? Who's your representative?
You know, my representative is Jane Kuster from Kuster Designs, and he's been a BE since 2009, and he's also part of our mentorship program. So who else to better represent my team and our well-discussed information to this body? So James, take it away.
Thank you, Alicia. Yeah, I think the big thing that came out of our group was to let new business owners know that they need to make mistakes and they should not be afraid of making mistakes, that this is how they're going to grow and learn. And, you know, even the corporate partners are not expecting them to be perfect when they first walk in the door, and again, bring their authenticity, and also, you know, to get involved and take advantage of all the great resources that NGLCC and their affiliate partners have to help them, you know, network, partner, and learn, because there's a ton of resources out there and nobody's expecting them to know everything right out of the gate and have all the answers. And the world is out there and ready to help them.
That's awesome. I love that, James. You know what? It sounds like you had a manager of supplier diversity in your group to give such sound advice. That's awesome.
You know?
And great work, Alicia. 5 stars. 5 stars.
I do my best.
Awesome.
Oh,
Thank
boy.
y'all so much. That was great. Greg is not enamored with my sense of humor, but that's fine. All right, Sean, last but certainly not least, who is the representative from your group?
Yes, we have Brian Gorman from Transforming Lives Coach. He's going to talk for us, and Brian was who kicked off our Accelerate program last week for our first facilitator. So the inaugural program, the very first program, Brian was there. So Brian, take it away.
Thank you. So the first lesson, and I think a lot of what we have to share are lessons from our business owners in the group. Persevere. You're going to run into obstacles. It's not going to be easy, but keep on living into your passion, learning the lessons along the way of the mistakes you make and how you overcome obstacles and all of those things. Don't think you have to do it alone. It takes a community, and we've got a great community here. So draw on that community for support. Don't get sucked into just working in your business. You also need to focus on working on your business. You're the leader, you're the business owner. So you have to set the course, you have to set the direction, you have to let go of those things that other people can do so that you have time to move your company forward. Hire those whose passions align with the purpose of your business, the passion that you're trying to fulfill. Because if your employees are passionate about coming to work every day, they're going to give you what you need to achieve your dreams. The more you give, the more you'll get back. Don't hesitate to give into the community. There is such a thing as karma. And finally, if you get the internal experience of your employees right, they'll take care of your customers the right way. So, you know, don't be just focused on the customer experience. Really focus on getting the internal experience right.
Love that. Brian, once again, you calm me and soothe me with your presence. We're so glad to have you involved in so many NGLCC programs, and that is incredibly sound advice from your group. So with that, we're going to move into our next breakout conversation. You're going to meet some new people, or in this case, it sounds like we've got a lot of veterans, NGLC veterans in this group, which is awesome. So that will make this selection of your spokesperson a bit easier, because the person who's been involved with NGLCC the longest is going to be your spokesperson. So Casey and Deborah Quade, if you're in the same group, again, you're going to need to hash that out. I don't want to be a part of it. Just kidding. So this activity, 10 words or less, describe LGBTQ pride. Jonathan, why don't you break us away?
Okay, wish me luck. Here we go.
Oh boy.
Good luck. Here we go.
All right, everyone. Enjoy your rooms. We'll see you in 10 minutes.
Well, that was a lot of fun. I had some of the same people in my group as before, and I had some new people. Welcome back, everybody. Hope that you all had a super fun moderator like my group did. It's funny that Greg and I play by different rules. So, Greg, you made Kristen your representative last time, but there was no contest. Kristen was our representative this time. She has been.
That's why she jumped from my group, because I was going to make her that yet again. So she jumped from my group.
Yeah, well, we were really glad to have her in our group.
I got kicked out. Someone kicked me out.
My heart heals.
We did lose Deborah Quade. We were pretty sad about it, but
hey, I got her.
Suffered.
I was voted off the island.
Yeah, she was in good hands.
Graduated
to a bigger
island. All right, Kristen, why don't you say what our group's 10 words were?
Okay, so our 10 groups were self-reflect, and respect, appreciate, rejoice, recharge, renew, unity, and community.
Love it. I might be biased, but that's the best 10 words to describe LGBTQ pride that I've ever heard, other than Casey's suggestion earlier of LGBTQA Day for Deborah.
I think there's room for that.
I like that.
So, Alicia, is it safe to say that Deborah was the presenter for your group?
Actually, there was somebody. No, yes, it was Deborah.
Because I was the last person on their island, so they voted before I got there. Shows up.
All lies, fake news. Go
So
for
is
it, Deborah.
Is it our turn? Okay, so we had a really robust conversation, and it was really, really cool cat, because everyone had such a unique perspective. Diversity of thought is what this is all about, right? So our words are joy, community, history, freedom, relief, belonging, politics, identity, authenticity, underrepresentation, and because I'm with Kellogg Company, I have to say family. Because when Kellogg goes to a Pride event, we try to make sure that everyone's aware that families are an important part of Pride. And we also created 2 catchphrases that you can hashtag if you want: claim who you are and live it, and stepping out, stepping up.
Check that out. Alicia, you had a group of thinkers. I got to say that my group, we still take the cake. No, I'm just kidding. That was really awesome.
And Deborah, I thought yours would be that it's great. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, Sean. Clearly, Sean's eager for his group to share. Sean, who's the spokesperson for your group?
Yes, we have Daryl Wagner, who's been since 2018, was the longest person was in my group. So Daryl, take it away.
We need more diversity in our groups.
That's me, that's right. So it took a year and a half and I'm like the senior. But just pleasant to say, Sabrina, that I think ours is maybe slightly better. And we came up with like a whole statement, which is a place I can be myself at all times, unapologetically. Yep.
That's beautiful. And yours is succinct and it flowed. I love that.
Daryl just did like a mic drop.
And Sean and Brian made sure we stayed on task. So.
All right, Sean, I guess you did okay in your role as moderator. I guess that was fine. That was fine. Greg, who's from your group?
Jeremy.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, everybody. So we had a little bit more than 10 words. I'm sorry. We request inclusivity and acceptance, which were 2 of our words. So I'm going to give you the 11 words. Honesty, community, family, acceptance, pride, inclusivity, respect, authenticity, innovative, empathy, and self-love. That's actually 12.
Well, we'll consider self-love to be hyphenated unless you're counting the and, but that's
okay,
awesome.
Good, 11. Thank you.
Great work, everybody. I love seeing that there were so many threads of commonality between all of our groups. we have one final breakout group for today's community and conversation. It's been so much fun to sip on my beer and chit chat with all of you. Jonathan's going to send us in just a second. This time your spokesperson is going to be whoever's last name falls the furthest in the alphabet. And in 5 words or less, come up with a tagline for Pride that is inclusive of all Black Lives Matter. So Jonathan, send us away.
All right. Good luck, everybody. See you in a few.
Well, once again, it is no contest. My team is just taking the cake here. I am just blown away. Jonathan, great job. We had an almost completely different group this time.
Your team's taking the cake? I don't remember you being in my room. What are you talking about?
Oh, she was
That's
in
the
our
point, Dave.
that.
That's the point,
No. Alicia was saying, I think Alicia was doing pretty hot there too, I'll tell you.
Hey, thank you so much, David.
Sabrina, you're a little slow, Sabrina. I've already tweeted our hashtag. It's already out there.
You know.
Well, Deborah,
Oh,
our
just
team
saying.
is the overachiever. All right.
That's my
We've only got a few minutes, so I want to make sure we get through these. So Deborah, since you're so confident, I don't know which group you are in. Tell me who your spokesperson is. It might be you.
Maxine.
Oh,
And this is my group.
I'm going to put, in the chat box so everyone can see it because we emphasize words, but we wanted it to be powerful and simple, and we also wanted to recognize that it's a global issue, not just here in the US. So here for everyone to see, all Black Lives Matter, always, everywhere.
Oh my goodness. All Black Lives Matter, always, everywhere. But I see what you did with the BLM to get rid of that. So I'll take it. Sean, good job. I'm not going to give you too many kudos because, as I said, my group is just outstanding, but I'll handle it. No, I love that hashtag. Great job. Great job.
Great job, my group.
Alicia, what did your group say?
David, take it away. We actually have two. Thank you very much.
Oh,
it wasn't me.
Okay. Oh no, it was Lauren.
Lauren, I'm sorry.
Our very own.
I think
I just talked a lot. I'm sorry.
It was our very own Lauren, who is the assistant to the president and CEO, and our office administrator. Come on, Lauren, take it away.
Thank you, with the wonderful moderator, Alicia, helping us out here. So the first one that we had was Together United, Never Divided. So it's got a nice flow to it. David, do you want to take away the second one?
I didn't write it down again. I'm sorry.
Go for it, Lauren. Lauren?
It was pride for one and all.
Pride for one and all. That's what it was.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that. Great work, Team Alicia Green. Greg, what about your group? We lose Greg, or is Greg on mute?
I'm on mute, and Daryl was the spokesperson, so I got to tell you, we ran out of time, and we got into some really, really good dialogue. So, so I hate that it got cut off, but I'm going to turn it over to Daryl to see what you.
I made executive decisions for what we decided.
Good job, Daryl.
Good job.
So we have 5 words, but they can be said in 2 different ways. This is what I decided. This is not what the group said, but this is what the group was working towards, in my opinion. LGBTQ pride is Black pride, or Black pride is LGBTQ pride.
I love it.
Greg can tell me if I'm wrong, but basically LGBTQ pride is Black pride.
I love that. I love that. Kevin, take it away for the best group there was. I can't wait for you to share with everybody what we have to say.
I was going to say save the best group for last, but I mean, I don't know who's talking. Yeah, so we had a great dialogue as well. Just getting into, I personally had the chance to speak with Teresa Koya, who was a bartender at Stonewall last night during the riots. And what we came up with as a group is looking at a global community altogether. And we came up with the words, Black, Brown, Trans Lives Started Pride. So it's
we hyphenated Black, Brown.
Yeah, Sabrina's been counting, so I should have mentioned that very quickly. Like, she's counting everyone else's words. So Black, Brown was hyphenated, just so everyone is aware. Sabrina didn't break her own rule.
Thanks, Kevin. Y'all, this has been so much fun to spend Friday afternoon with you. Thank you so much for sharing those insights and joining us for a little community and convo. We are getting close to time. Well, actually, we are past time now, so thank y'all for sticking around. Our next LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays program is Friday, July 17th, followed by Friday, July 31st. Make sure you join us. If you haven't applied to pitch, be sure you do so, ngocc.org/sipandpitch. The amazing Jonathan from Team NGLCC is going to share the feedback form here in the chat. We always appreciate your feedback, especially today since we've tried out this new breakout forum. Questions about the program, education@nglcc.org. Don't forget, tune into NGLCC Webinars Webinar Wednesdays, 2 to 3 p.m. each week. You can learn more at nglcc.org/webinars. You can also access prior recordings there. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for being with us for another NGLCC LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays program. We'll see you all next time and have a great weekend.
Join us Tuesday.
Yes, if you're a corporate partner, don't forget to join us on Tuesday for the TGNC Supply Chain Inclusion Training. Thanks, Deborah. And thank you, Kellogg. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.